Tonight's headline is about a live stream moment that turned into a firestorm. Antonio Brown and 6ix9ine jumped on Adin Ross's stream and started cracking jokes that referenced conservative commentator Charlie Kirk. Within minutes, clips were ripped, reposted, and remixed across every platform you can think of. Supporters called it edgy humor. Critics called it disrespectful clout chasing. And now all three names, Antonio Brown, 6ix9ine, and Adin, are catching heat as the internet debates where the line is between roast, ridicule, and harassment. Let's set the scene. Adin streams are built for viral chaos, big personalities, fast chat, and a constant hunt for the next clip. When Antonio Brown and 6ix9ine tapped in, the tone shifted to peak internet energy, loud, layered, and designed to trend. At some point, the jokes turned toward Charlie Kirk. No one on stream read from a script or delivered a planned monologue. It was off-the-cuff locker room humor, the sort of riffing that either lands with the audience or explodes in your face. In this case, it did both. Real-time laughs from the live chat, followed by instant backlash from the wider timeline. Why did it blow up so fast? Because the ecosystem rewards speed, not nuance. 15-second clips with spicy lines will outrun any full context replay every single time. The most shareable version becomes the truth for millions of viewers who never watch the entire stream. And once the clip escapes into the wild, it gets reframed by whoever posts it, fan pages, political accounts, stan communities, each adding captions that tilt the meaning. That's how a joke becomes a headline, and a headline becomes a culture war. Here's the tension point. On one side, you've got people saying, it's a comedy-style stream. If you show up, you're fair game. They argue public figures get roasted every day, and that's part of open discourse. On the other side, you've got viewers saying, this wasn't satire, this was punching for clicks. They point out that when the target is a real person with a real audience, jokes can turn into targeted pile-ons, sending waves of harassment long after the stream ends. Both claims exist in the same online economy, and both have some truth in them. For Antonio Brown, the optics are complicated. Every time he appears on a high-profile stream and leans into shock value, he gets immediate visibility. But he also deepens a narrative that overshadows anything serious he might be trying to build outside of viral moments. Supporters call it marketing genius. Critics say it's brand erosion in real time. For 6ix9ine, this is familiar territory. He's mastered the art of weaponizing attention, but attention cuts both ways. If the joke lands, he wins the cycle. If it backfires, he fuels calls for platform penalties or sponsor pullbacks. And for Adin Ross, this is home court. He knows big energy draws big numbers. The flip side is that the bigger the numbers, the bigger the scrutiny. Platform rules, advertiser comfort, and press coverage all turn up to 11. Let's talk platform policy for a second. Most sites draw a distinction between commentary and targeted harassment. It's a moving line, and it gets policed inconsistently, but it exists. If this moment gets flagged internally, the questions are basic. Was this general commentary about a public figure, or did it cross into coordinated insults meant to drive his audience toward hostile engagement? Did it encourage brigading? Did it reveal personal info or urge others to do so? If the answer to those is no, it usually lands in the controversial but allowed bucket. If the answer trends yes, that's where you see removals, age gates, or demonetization. There's also the business angle. Streams like this are powered by hype, but partnerships are powered by safety. Brands want reach without risk. So while the clip may spike concurrent viewers and short-term subs, the longer-term question is whether sponsors or even payment processors get uncomfortable with the direction of the content. It's the classic creator's trade-off. The faster the growth via controversy, the harder it can be to stabilize the bag afterward. So what happens next? First, watch for statements. If Charlie Kirk responds, expect a clean line, either brushing it off as juvenile or framing it as harassment to rally his base. If Antonio Brown or 6ix9ine address the backlash, they'll likely split the difference. Just jokes, no disrespect, and a reminder that comedy tests boundaries. Adin may play host and move on quickly, or he might lean into the meta content, reacting to the reaction, which creates its own second wave of clips. Second, watch for platform actions. If the short clips remain up and unflagged, the story may burn hot for 48 hours and fade. If moderation hits, age restrictions, removal for policy, or demonetization, the controversy will stretch into a larger debate about speech, standards, and whether big creators get a different rulebook. Third, watch the audience. If this moment becomes a one-liner in their next streams and the chat loves it, they've successfully turned outrage into a recurring bit. If the chat cools and the energy shifts, it means the internet had its laugh and moved on. Proof that even the loudest controversies have short half-lives. There's a bigger lesson here for creators and fans. Roasting a public figure is easy content. Carrying the consequences is where strategy starts. If you run a show, build yourself a clip test. Would you still stand by this moment if it were cut out of context and seen by someone who never watches you? If the answer is no, it's probably not worth the 30 seconds of buzz. And if you're a viewer, remember that someone else's caption is not a neutral narrator. Before you decide what happened, find the full segment and listen for tone, setup, and what was said right after. Bottom line, Antonio Brown and 6ix9ine cracked jokes about Charlie Kirk during Adin Ross' stream and caught heat for it. Some people laughed, some were offended, and the algorithm did exactly what it was built to do: amplify whatever triggered a reaction. Whether this becomes a multi-day saga or a one-night spark depends on the statements, the platforms, and the audience appetite for round two. Thank you for watching. If you want the culture without the chaos, the context behind the clips, and real talk that doesn't waste your time, hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the Short Clips Podcast. We've got you covered every time.